Right friends, welcome back to revision series. This is 24th module, Science and Technology, 3rd module. And the first one, Zika virus. Why it is into the news? Because of the large outbreaks in Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. Right? And here the ICMR says Rajasthan strain that is not linked to microcephaly. That means that it did not have mutation linked to microcephaly. And please do not forget, this is associated with microcephaly and Guillain-Barré syndrome. About these two, I would like to explain a short while from now. Right? Look at Zika virus. First thing, it is viral infection. Second, caused by mosquitoes. Third, the vector is Aedes aegypti mosquito. And the same mosquito causes the dengue and chikungunya, or you can say spreads dengue and chikungunya, and infected people can transmit Zika virus sexually also, and here fatality rate is around 8%, incubation period is 3 to 14 days, and probably it may be difficult to remember these things, but 3-4 important points don't forget. Viral infection spread by mosquitoes, and Aedes aegypti mosquito is the vector, and it also spreads dengue and chikungunya, please don't forget. And two diseases are associated with this Zika virus. One is Guillain-Barré syndrome, second one is microcephaly. And what is vector? Here vector-borne diseases means these are the illnesses caused by parasites, viruses and bacteria, and these are transmitted by mosquitoes, sandflies, ticks, like that. And please don't forget West Nile virus. And West Nile virus we discussed last week, and birds are the natural hosts in West Nile virus, spread by mosquitoes, we learnt last week, and this is spread by mosquitoes. And the burden of the vector-borne diseases is highest in tropical and subtropical areas. At the same time, other important point, don't forget, it disproportionately affect poorer populations. Vector-borne diseases which are spread by them, basically that disproportionately affect poorer populations. That means more poorer population will be affected in comparison to well-off population, disproportionate. Second is the disease burden is highest in tropical and subtropical areas because of the prevalence of these vectors. Right friends, and these are the diseases because of Aedes aegypti, we are talking about Zika, and the same spreads chikungunya, dengue, yellow fever, and this is Anopheles, all of you are familiar, malaria, then Culex, then sandfly, and similarly ticks. Ticks transmit certain diseases, right? And these two, one is microcephaly. This is the condition in which babies are born with the small and underdeveloped brains, right? So in Brazil, reports say that number of babies born with the shorter heads, and when the pregnant women are affected, this takes place. Second one is Guillain-Barré syndrome. This is nothing but a neurological disorder that could lead to paralysis and death, right? And here concerns about herd immunity. Why we are discussing about herd immunity? This is very important word, because as per the recent paper by National Institute of Virology, Rajasthan strain, that is with regard to Zika virus, the report said Rajasthan strain is endemic to Asia. Right. So when something is endemic to particular region, right, several people might have developed antibodies. It creates herd immunity, right? So therefore, exposure to the virus, that means here if you see, many Indians could have antibodies, because when some virus is endemic to particular area, of course, for several years, maybe for several decades, then what happens? Majority of the population will develop antibodies, and because of that, disease outbreak chances are less, right? What is a herd immunity? Herd immunity is resistance to the spread of a contagious disease within a population. That means outbreak of the diseases. When herd immunity is there, then resistance among majority of the population will be there. majority of the population are resistant to the disease, and because of that what happens, outbreak of the disease chances are less. Right, this is about herd immunity. So, herd immunity occurs when high proportion of individuals are resistant to the disease. Right friends, it may occur due to immunization or because of natural process when certain viruses are there endemic to the area. Right, just like the present example, that means it is not clear whether people have herd immunity or not. To know that, seroprevalence surveys are required. Seroprevalence surveys are required. That is not required from your examination perspective. What is important is herd immunity. Herd immunity is the resistance to the spread of a contagious disease within a population, and it occurs when high proportion of individuals are resistant to the disease. That means through the immunization. What happens? More and more people will be resistant to the disease. Outbreak chances are minimized. Similarly, when the virus is prevalent for decades in that area, many people will be resistant to the spread of the disease. Right. So, herd immunity may happen due to immunization or naturally. Right. So, prevalence of virus for decades. When among the populations, the prevalence of virus is there for decades and vaccination is there to majority of the population, under those circumstances, majority of the population will develop antibodies. That means they develop resistance for contracting the disease. Friends, herd immunity is resistance to contracting the disease. Majority of the population will have resistance, or you can say antibodies. Because of that, the outbreak of the disease chances are less, and herd immunity can happen either because of the prevalence of virus for decades in the area or because of the immunization. I hope you got the point. Look at the next one about neutrino observatory, right? And here neutrinos, these are produced by the cosmic rays, and please don't forget, neutrino observatory is supposed to come up in the Tamil Nadu Kerala border, or you can say nearer to Tamil Nadu Kerala border in the Bodhi West Hills. That is important. Second point is Mathikattan Shola National Park in Idukki district, that is close to this. That means this Mathikattan Shola National Park, that is in fact in Kerala, but this neutrino observatory is proposed in Tamil Nadu, and neutrinos are produced by cosmic rays, please don't forget. And 2-3 important points I would like to tell you. These are produced by cosmic rays. These are elementary particles present everywhere, and they are very difficult to detect because they pass seamlessly through different kinds of matter. If you look at the neutrinos, don't forget 4-5 important points. These are produced by cosmic rays. These are the elementary particles present everywhere in the universe. Third is difficult to detect. Fourth is they carry no electric charge. But recently it was found that neutrinos have mass, right? So these Nobel laureates, they recognized that neutrinos change identities, and that requires neutrinos have mass. And friends, in this context, because it became controversial in recent times, 2-3 important points, don't forget. The West Bodhi Hills, or you can say Bodhi West Hills in Tamil Nadu, Kerala border is nearby. Mathikattan Shola National Park, that is around 5 kilometers from this proposed observatory, or you can say neutrino observatory. Next, most important aspect is why it is located underground. It is located underground because of the reason to provide adequate shielding from cosmic background radiation. So, to protect it from cosmic background radiation, this is underground. That is the important aspect. Then, Petroleum Minister launched Satat. What is this? This is sustainable alternate towards affordable transportation. Satat. This is nothing but the biogas, or you can say compressed biogas. All of you are familiar with compressed natural gas. CNG, and this is compressed biogas, CBG, right? So, compressed biogas production plants, that means the PSU oil marketing companies, they asked for expression of interest to set up compressed biogas production plants, and the idea of Satat is to make available compressed biogas in the market for use in automotive fuels, right? So, just like CNG, all of you are familiar with the CNG vehicles. Similarly, the government's idea is this compressed biogas or CBG should be used in vehicles. That is the goal. And how to produce CBG? CBG can be produced through agricultural residue, this cattle dung, this municipal solid waste. So, friends, this CBG under Satat CBG, that is to be produced from this agricultural residue, cattle dung, municipal solid waste. Have a look at it. And CBG, or you can say, let us begin with biogas is produced naturally, and here this is through anaerobic decomposition, right? The process is anaerobic decomposition of this agricultural residue, cattle dung, municipal solid waste. Friends, through the anaerobic decomposition of this agricultural residue, cattle dung, municipal solid waste, what we get is this biogas, right? And here after purification, it is compressed and called compressed biogas, right friends? 2-3 important points I would like to tell you here. Satat, compressed biogas, and biogas is to be obtained through anaerobic decomposition of this agricultural waste, cattle dung, municipal solid waste. And the next important aspect is it has got pure methane content of 95%. Very, very important. It has got pure methane content of over 95%, and it is exactly similar to commercially available natural gas in its composition and energy potential, right? Very, very important. This compressed biogas, CBG, government wants to promote CBG in a big way, which is obtained through anaerobic decomposition of agricultural residue, cattle dung, municipal solid waste, and government wants to promote this for running the vehicles, or you can say automotive fuel. And please don't forget, this CBG has got a pure methane content of over 95%, and if you look at commercial viability, or you can say in composition and energy potential, that means calorific value if you see. So, in the composition, because it has got 95% of methane in composition, in the energy potential, that means when you look at calorific value wise, it is similar to this commercially available natural gas. So, friends, this compressed biogas that has the potential to replace CNG in automotive, industrial and commercial uses, right? And these are proposed to be set up. That means CBG plants are proposed to be set up across the country, right? So, 1500 strong CNG stations, they will be used basically to in fact supply this compressed biogas in future. Right friends, this is about Satat, compressed biogas. It is similar to natural gas. All these things are more than enough. The world's largest supercomputer that is designed to work in the same way as the human brain is switched on for the first time. And here, one important aspect I would like to tell you, this is a spiking neural network architecture machine. Very important, this is called Spinnaker. This is a Spinnaker, and this is built at the University of Manchester in UK. Right friends, this is the world's largest supercomputer designed to work in the same way as the human brain. That is important. Same way as the human brain. Please don't forget, this is a spiral neural network architecture machine. And second important aspect is it is built at the University of Manchester in United Kingdom. Third important aspect is it can model this biological neurons, right? So here it mimics the human brain, right? So this is the beauty. That means it works in the same way as the human brain. So this is a Spinnaker built by University of Manchester, and biological neurons. What exactly you understand by biological neurons? These are the basic brain cells present in the nervous system that communicate by emitting spikes of pure electrochemical energy. Right friends, from examination perspective, Spinnaker, spiking neural network architecture. This is built at University of Manchester. It mimics human brain, right? So it can model more biological neurons, right? So this is all about this. Then look at the next one. Anti-tuberculosis drug delamanid is being rolled out. Friends, we deliberated number of times. Bedaquiline and delamanid. Bedaquiline and delamanid. These are the drugs intended for treating drug-resistant tuberculosis, right? So for treating drug-resistant tuberculosis, don't forget bedaquiline and delamanid, right? So this is one important aspect. At the same time, we discussed previously albendazole. Albendazole, that is the tablet given universally to control roundworms, which is the common problem in our country, right? That is part of the National Deworming Day, right? So to control the roundworms, albendazole tablet is given. But please don't forget delamanid and the bedaquiline. These are intended to treat drug-resistant tuberculosis. Look at the next one. This is about to control global warming. There is a proposal of spraying some aerosols, or you can say stratospheric aerosol injection, right? So it could limit raising the temperatures that are causing climate change. So here some chemicals are injected. This is known as stratospheric aerosol injection. What is aerosol? Aerosol is nothing but here tiny particles suspended in our atmosphere. These are aerosols. And what about this? This involves in fact spraying large quantities of this sulfate particles into the upper layer of the atmosphere. So friends, sulfate particles are sprayed in the upper layer of the atmosphere, and it acts as a reflective barrier against sunlight, right? So this is into the news. It may not be that important. Stratospheric aerosol injection. This is basically to slow down global warming, right? So therefore, it could limit rising temperatures, and these are to be sprayed. These are sulfate particles. These are to be sprayed in the upper layers of the atmosphere. Because of that, what happens? The temperature rise can be controlled, right? This is only theoretical part. Let us leave this discussion here. Privately funded Team Indus is now part of US consortium that NASA has shortlisted to fly scientific and commercial cargo to the moon over the next 10 years. And what is this Team Indus? Team Indus is based in Bengaluru, and it came to the limelight because of $30 million Google Lunar X prize announced by Google. But it could not make much headway because no contenders came up to the launch stage, and at that time this Team Indus came to the forefront. So from your examination perspective, Team Indus is into the news because now it joined Orbit Beyond. This is the new space transportation company, and this Team Indus is a part of the consortium that is Orbit Beyond, that is shortlisted by NASA to fly scientific and commercial cargo to the moon over the next 10 years. Friends, please don't forget this Team Indus as well as Orbit Beyond, because Orbit Beyond is shortlisted by NASA to take scientific and commercial cargo to the moon. Look into the next one. This is about the National Mission on Interdisciplinary Cyber-Physical Systems. That means, what is the meaning of cyber-physical systems? The physical systems are to be integrated with the computers, right? Let us take the traffic on the roads and traffic signals, and by using embedded systems, by using sensors, the traffic can be tracked and the traffic signals can be adjusted in such a way based on the traffic. That is one example of cyber-physical systems. That means the physical movement, or you can say physical systems, they can be integrated by using the computers. Nowadays, internet is available. So 5G will become the backbone. So the new technologies are available. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, right? So all these new technologies with the 5G as the backbone, right? By using 5G as the backbone, by using the advanced technologies, now what will happen is this cyber physical systems revolves around the physical systems are to be monitored by using computer network, or you can say computer developed algorithms, that is cyber physical systems. And one example is this controlling the traffic. Second example is if the doctor is assisted by robo in the heart surgery. In the heart surgery, if the robo is assisting the doctor, that is example of cyber physical systems. Future is going to be cyber physical systems. Various physical entities will be amalgamated, or you can say integrated into the computer network. And friends, let us come back to the discussion. Here it is to be implemented by the Department of Science and Technology with a total outlay of around 3,660 crore for a period of 5 years. Right friends, have a glance at it. Cyber physical systems, they are going to make huge changes in future, and these technologies will be used, right? Like artificial intelligence, deep learning, machine learning, Internet of Things. By using all these technologies in future, cyber physical systems is going to herald a total paradigm shift in the working of various entities. Whether you take the surgeries, whether you take the traffic flows, whether you take the operation of various machines, right? And here its impact, have a glance at it. This may not be that important from examination perspective, but CPS is integrated system of upcoming technology. Look at the next one, China's Beidou navigation satellite system, and this started offering global services. And about our own NAVIC, we will discuss in the ISRO related events. But please don't forget GPS, all of you are familiar. GPS is of United States of America. Then Pakistan became the first foreign nation to use Beidou. And please don't forget, Beidou is of China, similar to GPS of USA. And please do not forget, GLONASS is there, that is the system of Russia, and Galileo, that is of European Union. So these things are very important. Galileo is of European Union, GLONASS is of Russia, Beidou is by China, GPS is of United States of America, and our own NAVIC, we are going to deliberate in ISRO. Right friends, look at the next one. This is about fall armyworm. Right friends, this is threatening across the world. Now the agriculture sector is fearing about this fall armyworm, and it is the major maize pest in North America, and scientific name I have given here. So fall armyworm, this is the major maize pest in North America, and have a glance at it. And subsequently it arrived in Africa, it created havoc in Africa, and in India, Karnataka is the first state to report fall armyworm. And it can affect vegetables, rice, sugarcane, and this tropical climate is suitable for thriving this fall armyworm. How to control it? It can be controlled with the insecticides or through the natural enemies. Have a glance at it. It is controlled with the insecticides. And another important aspect is there are predators, natural predators. This is one such predator to control fall armyworm, right? So one such predator to control it is coccinellid beetles. So if you spread this coccinellid beetles, then it is biological control. Right friends, this is about fall armyworm. It is the maize pest of North America. It is spread to Africa. Now it is spreading in India. It can affect number of crops like this sugarcane, rice, vegetables, maize, like that. And there are options. One is basically insecticide is there. Then second important aspect is natural predators are there. One such natural predator is this quasinellid beetles, please don't forget. And when natural predators are used, that is biological control, and this is one such example, don't forget. Then astronomers from Thiruvananthapuram and Mumbai, they identified population of ultraviolet stars in globular clusters. Right friends, globular clusters, and this Astroset, and this Astroset is around 3.5 years old. And what is this Astroset? That is India's dedicated multi-wavelength space observatory. And the beauty is you can watch celestial objects in different wavelengths. That is the beauty. There are different wavelengths when you look at ultraviolet as well as X-ray regions. That means the important aspect here is you can watch the universe under different wavelengths of electromagnetic spectrum, and for that purpose this Astrosat is intended. And recent news item is it identified globular clusters. And what is globular cluster? Very important word. So friends, two important words are there here. One is Astrosat, second one is globular cluster. Globular clusters are nothing but collections of thousands of millions of stars moving as one unit. Right, this is the important aspect, and these are tightly held together by the gravity of the cluster itself. We learned to use globular clusters and Astrosat. Let us move on. Supreme Court revived class action suit against Nestle. Right, there was an issue with regard to the presence of monosodium glutamate. That means whether it is natural or added, and lead, whether it is within permissible limits or not. We are talking about Maggi noodles. So please recollect, Maggi noodles issue was there, and now the Supreme Court revived the class action suit. Right. So here the history I have given here, you can go through it. It may not be that important, but one important aspect is class action suit. What is the meaning? This word is very important. Here, one of the parties is a group of people and who are represented collectively by a member of that group. That means because of some action, when 1,000 persons are affected, and out of those 1,000 persons, one person can approach the Supreme Court or High Court. That is class action suit. So in a nutshell, class action suit is the lawsuit where one of the parties is represented on behalf of the entire group. Right friends, this is class action suit, and in this case Supreme Court revived class action suit against Nestle in the Maggi noodles case. Right, and the suit was filed by Department of Consumer Affairs, Ministry of Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution on behalf of the affected people. The suit was filed by Department of Consumer Affairs. First, the Supreme Court stayed the proceedings and later on it revived it. Right friends, please don't forget. And the suit was filed under the Consumer Protection Act. Right. So this is all about this Maggi noodles case. So in this case, 2-3 important points, don't forget. One is class action suit. What is the meaning? And the second important aspect is monosodium glutamate or MSG. This was the issue with regard to Maggi noodles, whether it is natural or added. Look at the next one. Chandrayaan2 is going to be launched, and here 3 important things are there in the Chandrayaan2 mission which is going to be launched. One is orbiter, second one is lander, third one is rover. So 3 components in Chandrayaan2. One is orbiter, that means it will circle the moon at an altitude of around 100 kilometers. and it will map the moon's surface, and it will look for X-ray emissions and also measures the abundance of water on the surface. Second is a lander. Lander is, it will explore the surface 600 kilometers from moon's south pole, and please don't forget, it will measure moon quakes and examine thermal properties. Friends, if the question is critical, have a glance at it. 3 components of Chandrayaan2. One is orbiter, which in fact circles the moon at altitude of 100 kilometers, basically to map the moon surface by looking for X-ray emissions and the availability of water or abundance of water. And this is lander. This looks for moon quakes and thermal properties of the surface. Third one is a rover. It will study the soil composition of the moon. Right? These 3 elements are important. Bomb cyclone in United States of America. Bomb cyclone swept through the US Great Plains, and this is known as winter hurricane. Very, very important. And it is in fact the situation when the pressure suddenly drops, the atmospheric pressure, when it suddenly drops 24 millibar in 24 hours. It is called bomb cyclone. And when the drop in the pressure experiences 24 millibar in 24 hours, the process is known as bombogenesis. Right? And why this pressure drop occurs? Right? During the winter period, this pressure drop occurs because relatively warm air coming from the ocean or the water bodies and the cold air above the land, they collide to create drop in the atmospheric pressure, and this process is known as bombogenesis, and because of this winter hurricanes are formed. Right friends, here this is about ice stupa. What is ice stupa? These are into the news because India Post released a special stamp, and ice stupas are artificial glaciers which freeze and hold the water during the winter season, right? And here 2 important points I would like to tell you. One is how the stupas are created like this. The stupas are created like this by using the head difference, right? Head difference. That means water is brought from the high areas and through the pipes it is brought, and because of the head difference it naturally rises, and in the cold environment of -20, -30 it freezes. So that is the reason why this ice stupas are formed. And the second important aspect is it stores in the shape of a cone. Why it is stored in the shape of a cone? Because when it is in the shape of a cone, it offers minimum surface area to the sun and it holds maximum amount of water. That means by holding maximum amount of water, right? This is the initiative of Sonam Wangchuk. These are conical mounds of ice. These are created during the winter season, and in the summer season they will be used when water scarcity is there. Then when this stupa melts in the summer season, then the water is used. Ice stupas, technically it is very important why they are into the conical shape and how they are formed. They are formed by using the head difference. Second is a conical shape. Why? Because to offer minimum surface area to the sun so that this can be protected right up to the summer season, right? If it is not stored in this fashion, what happens? It will have more surface area. Because of more surface area, water will in fact melt in the early stages of onset of summer, or you can say to prolong it to the summer months. This is kept, or you can say developed this way, right friends? This is about this ice stupas. Then the country is racing ahead to implement BS6 provisions, and friends, to implement BS6 provisions, the most important aspect is in the diesel engines, Lot many modifications are required because diesel engines emit more pollutants, all of you are well aware, and reducing nitrogen oxides, then hydrocarbons, carbon monoxide, particulate matter. These are important aspects when you look at the implementation of this BS6 provisions. And for that, one important aspect, don't forget, it is selective catalytic reduction. Sometimes in the examination it may be asked. The most important aspect of implementing this BS6 provisions is making modifications to the diesel engines with the establishment of selective catalytic reduction. And through this SCR, selective catalytic reduction, the process is reduction. Of course, you have to go to the chemistry part and what exactly the meaning of reduction. So anyhow, selective catalytic reduction, this is for reducing nitrogen oxides. They are converted to nitrogen, water and tiny amounts of carbon dioxide, and this reduces around 90% of this nitrogen oxides pollution, and it also reduces more than 50% when one looks at hydrocarbons pollution as well as carbon monoxide pollution, and at the same time it also reduces particulate matter up to some extent. So friends, from your examination perspective, selective catalytic reduction, this is one important aspect. It is basically used to reduce nitrogen oxides pollution, very, very important. And here automotive grade liquid urea, that is scent, and automotive grade liquid urea which is known as diesel exhaust fluid, and that is scent. Basically it converts the exhaust, especially nitrogen oxides, into nitrogen, water, tiny amounts of carbon dioxide. Right friends, most important aspect here is a selective catalytic reduction that reduces 90% of nitrogen oxides. Right, it also reduces substantial amounts of this hydrocarbons as well as the carbon monoxide, and it also reduces up to some extent particulate matter. Then if it is combined with this tailpipe particulate matter filter, then particulate matter emissions can also be reduced substantially. Look into the next important aspect. This is about the Nobel Prize in Medicine that has gone to immunotherapy. Right, very important. All of you are familiar, for the cancer patients, the treatment, one type of treatment is chemotherapy, and this is immunotherapy. What is the difference between chemotherapy and immunotherapy? Students should have clear distinction. And when you look at immunotherapy, basically here the drugs are developed. These are known as checkpoint inhibitors. These checkpoint inhibitors, or you can say immunotherapy agents. Immunotherapy agents, in fact, they work by helping the T cells. In fact, T cells are one type of white blood cells that is part of the immune system, and here they recognize the cancer and attack it. So therefore, these immunotherapy agents are checkpoint inhibitors, or you can say this year's Nobel Prize in Medicine has gone to immunotherapy. Basically, these checkpoint inhibitors or immunotherapy agents, they help T cells. T cells are nothing but one type of white blood cells. These are part of the immune system and they recognize the cancer and attack it. Then if you look at Nobel Prize in Chemistry, in fact, one part of it has gone to naturally occurring enzymes. Naturally occurring enzymes that could be used to manufacture biofuels and pharmaceuticals. This may not be that important, but what is important is the other part has gone to the evolution of antibodies to combat autoimmune diseases. And you may have a doubt, what is the meaning of autoimmune diseases? Autoimmune diseases are nothing but the condition in which your immune system by mistake attacks your body. Very important. Normally, your immune system is supposed to protect you against the diseases, but by mistake what happens here, your immune system by mistake attacks your own body. That is known as autoimmune disease. Very, very important. Right? So, autoimmune disease is the condition in which your immune system mistakenly attacks your body. So, half of the Nobel Prize has gone to this antibodies to combat autoimmune diseases. From your examination perspective, what I have explained you, that is immunotherapy agents or checkpoint inhibitors. That is one important aspect. Second important aspect is autoimmune diseases. This is very important. And the third one, when you look at physics, optical tweezers. And what is the purpose of optical tweezers? Optical tweezers are used to study and manipulate subcellular structures such as DNA and little molecular motors. And here optical holography, this is very important word, optical holography, where thousands of optical tweezers, they operate together. Basically say in blood, they separate damaged blood cells from the healthy ones. And this is very important when you look at the treatment process for malaria. Right friends, optical holography, please don't forget. And the last one is this ultra short pulses of laser light, right? So, LASIK surgery in ophthalmology. And three important aspects are there what I have discussed with you. The first one is pertaining to immunotherapy. The second one pertaining to autoimmune diseases. Third one pertains to optical holography. Friends, these three are very important. These three words are very important when you look at the Nobel Prizes for medicine, physics and chemistry. Right friends, this concludes today's science and technology part of revision. Have a nice day. Thank you.